Hello, everyone. I'm sure some of you have noticed a lot of celebrities have been making videos where they're reading. LeVar Burton, Patrick Stewart, Garrett Anderson, a whole bunch of people have been putting up these videos, trying to help us get through. And I thought I would take a pass too. I have today. I'm just going to read a few excerpts from it. Never Eat Anything Bigger Than Your Head and Other Drawings by B. Kliban. A lot of people, especially younger people, probably aren't familiar with B. Kliban. He died relatively young at I think about 50, 55, 56 years old in the early 90s. He had originally been a Playboy illustrator back in the golden era of the 60s, before Playboy just. Um, and his work is very strange, very subversive. Gary Larson of The Far Side has always cited him as an obvious influence, almost to the point of plagiarism, in my opinion. But I've been into Kliban since I was a little, seriously, since I was a little kid. The adults in my family, my extended family, a lot of whom were marijuana users, were very into these books, these little books that they would come out with. It's very head humor. I think the hippie folk would, smoke their reefers and then flip through and, freak out. Uh, so I collected all of these as a kid. Some of them have had to replace, like this one is it's still over 40 years old, but my original copy fell apart long ago because from over abuse. But I'm going to read a few of them and then I'll show you the illustrations. So for this first one here, it's this gentleman, and he's got a bow tie, and he's looking pretty fancy, sitting at a restaurant at a table with his with a giant fly, ordering, and he says, "I'll have the gazpacho, the leeks, vinaigrette with shrimp, marinated zucchini, orange mousse, bottle of Côtes de Rhone Rouge, 59, and bring some shit for my fly." And because it's a fly, a fly is going to be happy eating shit. So that's sort of endemic of the humor. Uh, it's sort of a surreal, disconnected humor that uh, I think had a disproportionate influence on me as a kid. Um, Houdini escaping from New Jersey, and it is just a picture of Houdini, in his magician's outfit, running away from the sort of great standby joke that is New Jersey. On the opposite page is an old man just pointing back and saying, "It was hell," says former child, recalls former child. "It was hell." Um, so there's a lot of those. There's also some more edgy humor. He was definitely part of the counterculture, and he has the birth of advertising is just the name of this piece, and it is an animal, a horse or a donkey, shitting out little businessmen, and once they've been shat out, here's hey, let's make a deal here. Hey, how you doing? I'm Hank from accounting. Whatever. Um, but the ones that I always loved most were the just almost disturbing ones. This one, Robert lives in Vermont, where he ate only the heads off chocolate bunnies. And you have Robert there, and he is in fact eating the heads off chocolate bunnies, and he's a unsettling young man. Robert. I'll get a little closer on Robert for you. I'm going to skip through because I don't want to read all. It's kind of a long book, obviously. But there's these great pairings like debutantes and centipedes, which is just a selection of young women debutantes, which was a thing once, and centipedes. Right? Literally, that's all it is. Uh, going to skip through to some of my favorites. I should have bookmarked this. I was thinking about doing that, but I did not. I will do that next time, I promise, but I'll just sort of keep mumbling as we go along. I mean, there's Poignant Device, which is just these two people who've been moved to tears by this inexplicable device that's poignant apparently, and so it's made them cry. Uh, Fred's house. It just says Fred's house, and then there is a picture of Fred, and Fred is leaving his house. And as you can see, Fred and his house are the same shape. So, definitely works out well for Fred. I think you can also see a bit of influence in the illustration style on Shel Silverstein. I think he used a lot of the same pen technique to a different effect, but I think visually there's some overlap in the style. This is one of those ones from my childhood that I loved then and I love now. The callous sophisticates laughed at Judy's tiny head, and it is a drawing of quite sophisticated looking people, all in their finery, and they're all obviously mocking, poor Judy for her, undeniably very tiny head. And, especially this gentleman who's, even got sort of these ruffled cuffs and, this whole, sort of looking guy. And they're all being dicks to poor Judy. So, I feel bad for her. I've got kind of the opposite problem. My head is sort of Mardi Gras sized, but, I know what it is to be on the outside. This one is great. It says it all. The victim's family, and anyone who's watched anything where you see the victim's family, that's no need to explain that. It's so dark and off. Try to find a few more here for you that'll liven up your day. This one is fun. It's this group of fools. It says fool traits, and then like a lot of Kliban's work, it's numbered, but it's not actually in a series. It'll be a number with a number hash mark, or it'll say fig whatever, implying that it's from a series, which I think is really quite clever. But there's partial awareness, which is this rather zombified looking young fellow here. Ineptitude, which is this oaky flawed existence, which is this kind of, not to touch a breast, but sort of harsh living, beehived Baltimorean. Lame rationalization. Yeah, this guy's got problems. I don't like his hair at all. But and semi-consciousness, which is this presereless, dopey-eyed young lady who seems to be like literally half awake. No explanation. People humiliating a salami, and it is people humiliating a salami. Figure one. I wish there had been more figures of people humiliating a salami. Skip through. I kind of clever people will like this. Metaphysics. This one actually is 2 illustrations. Figure one. It says Metaphysics Figure 1, and it is a cow being spoken of by a wedge of cheese. Interestingly, this one is a wedge of cheese. This is a cheese wheel with a wedge cut out. I don't know if that means something. Metaphysics Figure 2. This one says milk. So obviously they're debating their origins, cow or milk. That is the sort of deep conversation Cheese has when, on their own. Good for them. I was flipping through this earlier. There were a couple. Oh, that's just mean. I'm not gonna say anything. Just let you drink that one in. Yep, that's what it is. Um, uh, okay, sorry. Plain but good-hearted girls, and that's what those are. You know them. You've met their counterparts in your life. Jane even took the time to stitch her name on her shirt just to, kind of make an impression on people. They're plain, but they are good-hearted. So, it's countered by, oh, I do love this. It's two young ladies, and they're obviously in conversation and passing this hunky young gentleman, short on brains, but a terrific dancer. Short on brains, but a terrific dancer. I like his work even later in the 70s and 80s, that he kept kind of a late 50s, early 60s style to a lot of his characters. He didn't really, unless he was specifically, poking fun, he didn't really incorporate contemporary fashions, which again, I think is one of those things Gary Larson kind of, because all of his women would be beehived and cat eye glasses. All right, Harry. I'm sorry. Um, Harry, dirty, scaly chicken toes. Harry puts them up his nose. There you go. Countered with, and hopefully David DiCarlo is not going to see this, the Nixon Monument, and it's people standing just in front of an open black abyss in the ground, which is the Nixon Monument. Because this was, Clyburn got to live in an innocent time when Richard Nixon was the worst they could imagine a president would be. Um, what naive fools. Um, uh, Trying to avoid the ones with nudity because I know a lot of you are wholesome living folk. So, but he was an illustrator with the play. Well, this one has a little bit of nudity, but hopefully you can, I don't know, go light a candle, whatever you people do. Chapter 7. I had to do my Roman numerals. Not being clever, Floyd had trouble with Claire's harness. There's Floyd. There's Claire. There's a little bit of, woohoo. There's Claire, and Floyd's definitely losing the good fight with her harness. So, poor Floyd. The illustration that is, in fact, the source of the title of the book, Never Eat Anything Bigger Than Your Head. Figure 1. That's wrong. See, this guy's got a little head and a big, huge bite on it. There's no way he's going to be able to eat this with that little head. Now, the second guy, he's got the big head in figure 2. And it says right. And it's the same, this and this are the same size. It's just this time he made sure to have a big head. Which, as a large-headed person, which I know is the second time I've mentioned that, which is kind of probably strange. But as a large-headed person, it definitely is better. Oh, the unfortunate child. Ladies and gentlemen, the unfortunate child. I'm just going to leave that up there for a moment. Absorb the unfortunate child. That one. I just, that poor kid. Chapter 4 is the title of this one. Yeah, V is 5. So yeah, it's chapter 4. It's been a long time. since I've learned my Romans. Scott, Scott laughed hard when Wanda brought home the contaminated cheese. There's Scott. He is undeniably amused. Here's Wanda. She's got the cheese, and I guess that's contaminated. And he is just he's just losing it. It is such a good laugh, that contaminated cheese. Um. All right. Find just one or two more here. Here's one that I did not get as a child, but I get as an adult. I think it's titled Ingles, that which is spelled Inglese, like a foreign language person is saying it. And as a guide, you have Christ and Christian. Is the first one. Second one is a little more difficult. Carp and Carpathian, which is not the same as Christ and Christian. And then even further out, rock and rocket. So it's don't want to actually use that to teach English. All right. Home for the Unpleasant, which is located in Portland, Oregon, which is probably correct. Another one of these. This probably more than anything is the sort of thing that defined my humor growing up. It's called Alice. Just give Alice some pencils, and she will stay busy for hours. And there is Alice with her pencils, and she is so happy. Look at how happy Alice is with those pencils. Just she's even got a spare, like she's touching them, point to eraser, but she can just her imagination can a whole world with those pencils. Good on Alice. Kids today with the video games and the space shooting and stuff. What are you gonna do? I think there's one more. Yep. Again, I might not have actually gotten this as a child, but when I was reading these earlier, I did laugh out loud when I saw this. Soup to Nuts is the name of it. Soup to Nuts. There's a little lady with a bowl of soup, and she seems to be in a mental hospital, I'm going to assume. And these people appear to be mentally disturbed, so it is Soup to Nuts. Alright, that is it. That was a section of that. I'm going to try to put up another video. Hopefully it'll be a little better prepared. This is the first time I have not only done this with reading to you, hopefully taking up some of your sequestered time, but it's the first time I've ever put a video up online, because for a long time I was forbidden because it would upset children to see me. Because it just... but, a whole new world. So, that's it. It's the weekend. I hope those of you who live alone, like I do, except for, obviously, the cat, I kind of made this video for you especially, because it is fucking rough being, literally the only person here. I had an Amazon delivery earlier, and that's the first contact with another human being in a while, and the last that I will have until the next time I go to the bodega or order something on Amazon. So it's rough. I hope you're all holding it together. I hope this video pulled you back from the edge of the abyss, and I hope you are taking care of yourself. Have a wonderful night.